Hello! And welcome back to Party Trick Astrology. I'm Nina.
I'm Shaina.
And this is your Lilith in Leo video. You know that we've gotten to Leo because we switched up our looks.
We have up Lilith videos from Aries to Cancer, also 1st through 4th house, so you can check out those if you haven't. We are discussing the true and mean Lilith. Those are the ones that we mostly are concentrating on throughout this series.
Which are also just two versions of the Black Moon Lilith.
Next up, we'll do Lilith in the 5th house.
Yes, so if you want to know more about Lilith, you should watch our introductory video to this series, which is all about Lilith and her many forms. If you want to get a reading from us, since, you know, this is just a basic overarching video and it isn't speaking to the specifics of your Lilith or your chart in general, and you want a more in-depth look into what your Lilith says specifically about your chart or other things in your chart, you can go to partytrickastrology.com. This is going to be some of the last months that we will be selling readings on partytrickastrology.com. But you can also follow us individually at Runaway Germ on everything, Instagram, Depop, YouTube as well, and Nina is me on Instagram, YouTube.
I don't have a website right now, but when I do, that will be linked down below. So yes, this is a big deal, guys. If you want a reading from both of us, this is one of your last chances to do so.
I also forgot to mention, for readings from me, it's ninabastrology.com. But why would you go there when you can get an exclusive Party Trick Astrology.com reading, which will not be here for much longer. So yes. Hop on that.
Yes, we're pretty sure we're going to be taking those down starting July. So
but who made us do all of this in front of the Leo video? The Lilith and Leo people are like, I don't want to hear about anything but myself. Put your housekeeping at the end when I can click off.
True, true. We have two resident Leo Liliths here. My true and mean Lilith are both in Leo, and Nina has her mean Lilith in Leo as well.
Lilith does not bring out the best traits in any single sign. So the stuff that you're going to hear about Lilith and Leo might sound a little harsh, and I feel like we say this in every single one of these videos. Like, Lilith isn't like the high vibration type of energy. It's a low vibration kind of energy, and that can be fun. It's fun to be messy sometimes, but we're not going to be singing the praises of Leo, and I know that Leo energy can take that personally, so worth mentioning that.
I will say that I think a huge thing with Lilith and Leo, as you can imagine, with Lilith being the thing that you just can't help but do, you obsessively do, it's that itch that you need to scratch, all that stuff, you really can go down the black hole of those characteristics. And with Lilith also dealing with entitlement, a lot of this has to do with just the self. You feel entitled to a certain amount of attention with the sign. Making sure that you're in the spotlight is very important, and through which house your Leo Lilith is in is going to show which house you want all of your attention through. And so obviously that can get really self-centered and really big-headed very easily.
Yes, I think that entitlement is the key word, because the thing with Leo as an archetype is that one of its most beautiful qualities is just this sense of self-confidence that comes through naturally and beautifully, and so much so that in its highest vibration, Leo doesn't need anyone to confirm that what they already believe, that they are the best. When you're talking about kind of low vibration Leo energy, which is definitely the case for Lilith, that entitlement comes through without necessarily that confidence from the inside. And so when you feel entitled to a lot of attention, it can sound like really fun, like, ooh, like Rihanna has this. I remember when I was learning about Lilith and Leo as a teenager, knowing that I had it, I was like, Rihanna has this, ooh, 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 I'm like Rihanna. That can sound really fun, and you know, Leo has all of these attributes that you're like, ooh, I do want to be like the dark feminine in this powerful, confident sign. But oftentimes, I mean, Lilith is an obsession. So there's this obsession with attention, this entitlement to have attention on you, to be the center of attention, and almost so much to the point that it can create a lot of insecurity, because what can happen is that you feel like if people aren't paying attention to you, that it's a diss on you, because you feel entitled to attention. You almost might have this kind of narrative in your head that people are always paying attention to you. So you can almost even get addicted to negative attention. Just apathy is the worst thing that you can experience from someone else as an emotion directed towards you. You don't want, or you don't think that anyone could actually be apathetic towards you, at least when your Lilith is having a say on a certain area of your life. Lack of attention is a diss, and also at the end of the day, no amount of attention can ever fully satisfy a Lilith and Leo. It's almost like these billionaires who you think like, how much, like, you have to be wiping your ass with dollar bills to be going through all of this money, and yet they just want more and more and more. With Lilith and Leo, that's what happens with attention. You think, well, once I get this, I will be satisfied with the amount of attention and praise that I get. Well, once I get this, and unfortunately, have you ever itched a scratch and been like, that's just what I needed. Great, now I don't have to worry about that itch anymore. I've never experienced that. I've only ever experienced like itching until like I'm bleeding and cracking and dying, and it's never enough. That's, you know, Lilith for you. And in the case of Lilith and Leo, it's a lot about there's never enough attention.
Yeah, with Lilith and Leo, just in general, more is more. This is a very extravagant, extra placement, and that's why I tried to bring out my most extra outfit, because of course, as a true Lilith and Leo, when I saw this at Goodwill, I went, how has anyone passed up this jacket? That doesn't make any sense. And so I thought it would be the perfect thing to wear. Just this is really quick, just my 1000% biased perspective. When I found out I was a Lilith and Leo and like what that meant, as with any Leo placement, you're gonna be like, yes, I love this placement. This is the fucking best. I'm the shit because of my Leo placement, wherever it is, but specifically also in with Lilith. And I'm gonna be real, still to this day, I'm like, yep, it's the number one. Like, I still like it. I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's just, you're just going to. And that's the thing with Lilith and Leo, I think it gives you a very big head. It gives you a lot, like Nina was mentioning, and like we keep saying, like entitlement is really a thing with this placement. To go on the other side, as with any Lilith placement, the way that you're first kind of introduced to it is going to be you're kind of exiled from whatever that energy is. So with Lilith and Leo, you are going to initially, when you're younger, experience a lot of, I don't know, like setback or a lot of opposition when it comes to you naturally and organically expressing your personality. People are probably not going to take to it well. People aren't going to take to you well. You're going to feel, and hey, maybe even not even be true, but you're going to feel victimized by being who you are from a very young age. And that's kind of what sets in motion that ultra confidence that kind of comes more later on. It's one of those things where this is such an independent placement in so many ways, and it's kind of like, well, if nobody likes me, then I'm gonna like me tenfold, you know, and if this person doesn't like what I wear, then I don't care, I'm gonna like it 10 times more than they could ever even like themselves. You know, it kind of becomes this overcompensation, as Lilith does, this overcompensation of trying to be so on your side that you can then also reject others. Like this can turn into hyper independence, where I almost think with Lilith and Leo you can voluntarily exile yourself because you are so set in your ways, you are so confident in who you are, you like being the center of attention, and so when you've exiled yourself, that's what's gonna happen. You're the center of attention, you know, because all that's around is you. You don't have to, you know, listen or talk to anyone. You can just live how you want to live. It's a very selfish, narrow-minded placement, I think.
Definitely. Leo as a sign is the protagonist. Doesn't necessarily play well with others. A big problem with Lilith and Leo, with Lilith and a lot of signs, but especially with Lilith and Leo, is jealousy when you're acting out of that Lilith and Leo. Because again, there's that, the biggest thing with Lilith and Leo is this sense of entitlement. And when you feel like that exile experience of you're not good enough, you're on the outskirts, you're not accepted for you being authentically and amazingly and expressively you, and also you're the protagonist in your story of your life, you are the center of attention, it can be really, really threatening when other people get compliments, when other people are shining, excelling in any kind of way. Lilith is a lot about self-sabotage, and it's also all about kind of like, it's very nonsensical. So it doesn't think things through very logically. It comes from our really emotional, guttural impulses that aren't always very well guided, that are often misguided, I should say. What can happen is that you villainize other people in order to put yourself on top. You read too much into the attention that other people get, or other people's actions, motivations, anything like that. There is almost like this fight for you to be able to feel like you are on top, that you are the top dog, that you are still the protagonist. There can just be such a hard fight to where you put yourself in self-sabotaging situations, like socially self-sabotaging situations, by trying to pit everyone against this one person, and then you end up looking like the villain, and then whoops, no one is paying attention to you, or they're only paying attention to you for negative reasons, which arguably is actually satisfying your Lilith, because again, the last thing that you want other people to feel towards you is apathetic. Like, this is a really small thing, but I notice that with myself, I just don't like telling a joke and having no reaction. I would rather someone say that it was awful, or that I was stupid, or just like absolutely shit on me than not have a reaction. Because when you're experiencing this Lilith and Leo, there's these two sides of the Lilith and Leo. The Lilith and Leo that's the poor, wounded version, the exiled version, if you will, and then the Lilith and Leo that is compensating with this extravagant, dark female empowerment. And so that's the narrative in your Lilith's brain, that you're either this or you're either that. And the brain is always looking for patterns and always looking to justify what it already believes. So you can just feel like you need people to react to you either extremely negatively or extremely positively. Leo is a fixed sign, it's pretty black and white. You're trying to fit in the information that you're receiving into the narrative of people love me or hate me. People worship the ground that I walk on, or they're just haters, you know?
Any press is good press, you know? Haters make me famous. All that stuff I feel like is very much Lilith and Leo. Like, I know for me, I've never been afraid of like putting myself out on the internet. I've never been afraid of, you know, being center stage. Like, I think there's a real ease and comfort with this placement. Like, something that's positive is like there's an ease and comfort with this placement of being in the spotlight. And obviously because it's Lilith, it takes that too far, and like Nina was saying, like it wants to be in the spotlight all the time. But a good thing is that there is a natural stage presence and a natural, you know, magnetism that people are drawn to you. You just seem a lot more comfortable and confident in yourself than a lot of people. Now, I think that can also go the other way of, as can with everything with Lilith, but go the other way of like, you are so comfortable with yourself, you are so confident in yourself that it can do that thing where it's like that Leo awkwardness, you know, where you're so kind of self-unaware that you kind of can turn a little geeky, or you kind of can turn a little nerdy, kind of can turn a little less...
spaz.
Yeah, spaz, yes! Oh, yes,
spaz
I'm
is
totally...
the perfect word.
I'm totally a spaz. It can be totally, like, way less provocative than Lilith kind of comes across, you know? I mean, it's a squaring sign to Scorpio, so I feel like awkwardness is definitely in there. Oh my god, something else that I just wrote that's really silly. I wrote, like, big diva hours with, like, a little trademark sign in my notes.
I love that. I was talking a bit about self-sabotage and social sabotage. The hardest thing, I think, or one of the hardest things, is this necessity to always believe that you're right when you're operating out of your Lilith, even to the point that you can be doing the exact same thing that you're chastising someone for, and you don't see it. You only see they're wrong, and, you know, Leo is fixed. It's the sun. It's all about me, me, me. You can very much stick into this very, very black and white thinking pattern, which will isolate you. But it's just the fact that this placement isolates you exactly when you want attention, exactly when you want to be told that you're right, that you're worthy. On the one hand, you'll never have enough of that if you're pursuing that through your Lilith. You know, if you have other things, other avenues to help you feel right and worthy, then pursue those rather than trying to get it through your Lilith. That's the hardest thing, is that that's what your Lilith is searching for, and it ends up putting you into the position a lot of times of, in fact, getting isolated, feeling misunderstood, and it's simply because Lilith in Leo is a very antisocial sign. Antisocial, not at all in the way of, hey, I'm here. You think of antisocial as like awkward in the corner, wallflower, but antisocial really is just like your ability to Libra almost, your ability to get along with others, and sociability has a lot to do with compromise and give and take and ebb and flow, and that's not what Lilith in Leo is about. It's very fixed in its own standing opinion, everything, and that makes it quite an antisocial placement, which is really difficult when Lilith in Leo is looking for social recognition, social standing, just like love. You know, and that's what it's looking for. It's like looking for love and attention, but it's also isolating in a big way. Lilith and Leo is.
Yeah, it's one of those like hypocrisies where it like wants to work alone because it's like it knows best and all this stuff, but also it needs people to feed its validation, you know? It's something that Nina said reminded me of this. I was thinking about this the other day with like the selfishness part of Lilith and Leo. I have like a ton of reasons as to why I personally don't want to have kids, and I've always felt that way, and they range from like being very deep and like ingrained in my morals or whatever to very shallow, and the very shallow ones I think are the ones that are related to my Leo Lilith, which is just that thing of like, I don't want to give up my body for something else. Like, fuck that other thing. Like, there's enough of them. Just not seeing that kind of like almost like Lilith in Cancer nurturing want, and because it doesn't want to nurture and give its energy, it wants to give it all to itself. You know, it wants to have the best life for itself. I think there's just like that shallow, like, oh, I want to look good thing that Leo Lilith can do, and then there's that selfishness of like, I don't have time. I don't want to do that, you know? So, and plus also Leo has a lot to do with children, especially like 5th house, which we'll talk about more when we do that video. But Leo has a lot to do with children. So also this can be something where like children reject you, like, you know, you aren't very likable around kids. I found that like I hate babies because they don't, and I think this is a Leo Lilith thing. I hate babies because they don't have a personality. They aren't unique yet. And I love toddlers like 5, 6, 7 because they are just so purely their individual selves and their own personality. I don't think any babies are cute because they don't have that individuality that Leo Lilith cares and puts so much emphasis towards.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up because Lilith is exactly the anti-mother. It's the opposite of the divine feminine. In the story, if you watched our video, she literally says like, fuck it, I want to live my life, so yeah, I'll eat my demon babies, like thousands of them every day. Like anything that I have to do to live my life.
I get it.
And it's interesting that...
That's a lot of demon babies to have. We don't need that many running around. No.
And it's interesting that you bring that up specifically when we're talking about Lilith and Leo, because Leo ruling the 5th house brings up the fact that having children is very much selfish, is something that people do for very selfish reasons. They want, I mean, not to get like too off topic, but they want to see themselves in another creature. They want to sometimes redo their childhood and get a second chance through their, why did I want to say spawn? Like, I could have said anything, but their spawn, their offspring, their children. And Lilith in Leo, I think that maybe there might be a bit more of a tumultuous relationship with the whole idea of having children. So that's something interesting to hear about. I would want to know what people's stance is on children if they have Lilith in Leo. I'm like a super moon person, so I am very much like been wanting to be a mother since like the beginning of my days, and I don't think my Lilith in Leo takes that over. Leo energy in general loves sleep. Like, you think like, oh yeah, Leo rules the heart, rules the circulatory system, and pumps blood, super energetic, work out when the moon is in Leo. But lions are just glorified house cats. They love their naps. They love to just chill out. It's a fixed sign. It likes to stay put. And so maybe with Lilith and Leo, sleeping could be kind of an itch that you need to scratch. Like, that might be a self-destructive method for you, is just oversleeping, sleeping at random hours. Also, like, the big thing is not being able to conform. This whole idea of being so set in your ways that you're unable to conform is sort of like the sabotaging aspect of Lilith and Leo. And that could even happen through like your sleep schedule. Like, I have to get a job, I have to work through somebody else's hours, I have to, no, I'd rather just like put myself out on the internet and have people love and adore me, and I can work in my pajamas.
Yeah, I think it's not just sleeping, but like leisure time, you know, just however you spend your leisure time, whatever fun for you. Like, I'm not gonna let my job or whatever it is, like whatever house it's in, like if it was in the 6th house, like I'm not gonna let my daily duties get in the way of what I want to be doing, what's fun for me, the sexual life I want to have, you know. I'm above these daily duties, you know. Whatever house it's in is gonna kind of show what you feel entitled to almost be above, and what you feel entitled to put your wants and what you want to do at that time ahead of what is told that we want, or the greater good, or the greater whatever. I'm going to go through some celebrities with Lilith and Leo. Now, Nina already mentioned Rihanna, which, oh my god, whenever anybody mentions Leo Lilith, they always mention Rihanna. She has it in the 5th house as well. It makes sense that she is like the one that we think of for Lilith and Leo, because it's not just her Lilith, it's so much embedded in her personality, because it makes so many personal contacts to her Aries fire signs in her 1st house, you know, that is why she's so much is seen as that. Like, we see her as a confident, badass bitch who's gonna do what she wants when she wants to do it. Oh, she doesn't want to release music these past few years, fuck you, she's gonna release lingerie, because that's, even that, it's like sexy, taboo, fun things, you know?
Yeah, and I think that as we get into the next video with Lilith in the 5th house, I think that we'll see like more and more people that really embody Lilith in our perception of them, because oftentimes celebrities are artists, and so with Rihanna, like everything that she puts out as an artist has Lilith ingrained in it, and Lilith in Leo. So, you know, it's not just Rihanna who has Lilith and Leo, it's her entire discography, and it's everything that she's ever put out. It's every photo shoot that she's ever been in. All of that is Lilith and Leo.
Somebody that popped into my mind the other day that I was like, I need to look up their Lilith, because I'll bet you they have a Lilith and Leo, and they do, is Frank Ocean. His chart is like all Scorpio in the 12th house with a Capricorn moon, like the last person that would ever want to like put themselves out there or just be like, ah, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's very much shown that through his Lilith and Leo, like he wants to get his creativity out there. He wants to get the projects that he does has out there. But in between any time that he drops anything, he is dead silent. There were years where he literally like went missing from the media. And I think that is a huge Leo Lilith move in conjunct kind of with all his other stuff, because that's what I think that kind of like self-exile comes from. Like, yes, I want you guys to adore me. I want you to know me for my talents. I want this, this, and that, but also I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be bothered. I want to live my life in peace the rest of the time. I couldn't care about you guys. All I want is your adoration and praise for the great work that I do, and then goodbye, you know?
Yeah, there can be also a really big fear of putting yourself out there a lot of times with Lilith and Leo, because like I keep saying, the last thing that you want is to not have a reaction when you put yourself out there. If you're operating out of your Lilith and Leo, you might just constantly be thinking like, I need to do like the most outrageous or like most eye-catching thing, and I can never just like be casual about anything that I put out, anything that I express.
And these are just two people, just because of their names, I feel like that they go by are very Lilith and Leo. Queen Latifah and Lord, you know, like very like regal names. I felt like that fit in. Somebody else that has Lilith and Leo and also actually has a bunch of Capricorn energy as well is Peter Steele. I think he's so hot. And the main thing that I think is his like Leo Lilith is when he did this cover. He's like an artist, and when he did this cover shoot for Playboy, this spread, he was like, I'm gonna do it fully nude. Like, there's no way you're hiding any of me. Like, if this is Playboy, I should be treated as such. Those pictures got so famous. You know, I feel like that's a very like very, very confident, look at me kind of Leo Lilith expression. And also he's like crazy tall, which I feel like can be like, because that automatically just gets you more attention. He's like a Sagittarius rising Leo Lilith, and he's like so tall.
I think that sometimes with the Lilith and Leo mindset is that you have to be extravagant, because if you fall on your face, then at least you can say it's because you were so extravagant. I don't know what this guy looks like. I have no idea who he is. But I'm sure that some Christian moms or someone is out there saying like, well, why would he do that? Why would he be, no, terrible. Mm-hmm. There's no kind of like shrug to it. Yeah. It's either love or hate.
Yeah, that hate like can fuel you. Like, good, I'm upsetting the right people. Like, it shows that I'm different than everybody else because they don't like me, almost, you know?
Like, what were we talking about him if he was just like in a little suit and tie?
Exactly.
And all that?
True. That's like an immortal photo shoot. I saw it in like the bathroom of some random shop one time, and I was like, the next person who we all fucking everybody adores because of her Neptune in the first, but Marilyn Monroe is a Leo rising, Neptune in the first, and her Leo Lilith is conjunct her rising, and we all want to be her, you know. I mean, I don't even know. I don't really care much about Marilyn Monroe. I'm just saying in general terms. Everyone idolizes her. Everybody has her face up everywhere. She was somebody who I feel like really started that thing back in the day of being famous because you're you, being famous because you're famous, you know. I feel like that's a lot more now a thing, but I feel like she was one of the first people to really do that, you know.
I know that she was an actress. I don't know how she got into
right, but she kind of just was like a personality, you know. You didn't like her because she was an amazing actress. You liked her because she was like hot and a personality, and Marilyn Monroe and iconic, you know.
Yeah, like you say, oh, I watched a Marilyn Monroe movie today.
Quite a few presidents, as you could imagine, have Lilith and Leo. I didn't write them all down because it got boring, but like Barack Obama and JFK were two ones that like I wrote down, and I feel like that just makes sense. Like, you have to have enough entitlement in yourself to think you can run the country, you know, I feel like. So that just makes sense. Well, USA and Tokyo both have a Leo Lilith, and I think it's interesting that so much of US culture is quickly coming from Tokyo, coming from Japan. Like, we have so much of their influence over here. We kind of then claim it as our own, which is gross. I feel like that just makes a lot of sense that Tokyo also has a Lilith and Leo, because they're so, like, the stuff that makes Japan, like, their culture is so heavily embedded, and it's so strong, and it's so creative, and there are so many things that branch out to other countries. Like, the rise of anime and stuff, like, is insane.
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, like, that stuff is huge. The last person that I want to talk about is Vincent Gallo. He is a director, and he starred in it. I think he also wrote the movie Buffalo 66. He's done some other stuff, but that's how I know him from. And he is an Aries, so that's coupled with it as well. And there's a lot of stuff how he didn't work well in Hollywood. He doesn't work well with people. He composed like all the music in that movie. He like wrote it, he started, he had like his fingers in everything, and he has a lot of trouble working with others. He does not, you know, Aries couple with this Leo Lilith, he does not work well with others, and Hollywood has shunned him a lot because of that, which, you know, exiled him literally. Very Leo Lilith experience.
Also, like, when it comes to creativity, and Leo has a lot to do with creativity, not wanting anyone to get their fingerprints on your work, not wanting to be judged for somebody else's input, and also like everyone loves the feeling to be like, oh yeah, I'm the writer, director, producer, starring me, and also I edited it, and I held the boom for my own show. It's a one-person show.
Me and Nina literally both did a one-person show. How have we not fucking mentioned that? And that was the obvious choice for both of us, I'm sure. What actually is, now that I'm thinking about it, interesting is that, I guess since we're talking about these one-person shows that we did at our school, I got to see some. I was the only person that didn't do one that was personal. I did one that was purely for entertainment purposes, and that was always the way that I took the approach, because my thought was like, what do people like the most? They like to be entertained. They don't want to hear about me. You know, so even though you think like a Leo Lilith would be like, oh, this is my time to make it about me, I purposefully absolutely did not want to make it about me, because I was like, well, I'm all about what other people will like, and therefore that will feed me. You know, that's the validation that I want, people being entertained. Mm-hmm. I don't care about me sharing my personal stuff. You know, like I said, it's square Scorpio. It's not about like sharing that kind of thing, you know? And I was like, all I care about is what will make the audience most happy, because that'll be the most fulfilling thing for me, you know? Oh, I feel like this is just a little like party trick with Leo Lilith. I think these are like the little kids that like need to get their way and always get their way.
Kind of like, I'm the baby of the family and you're the only child. And so like that was the way that things went. It's something about like being like the baby girl of the family. That's kind of like the Lilith and Leo in me, of like, oh, you have to be nice to your sister. Yeah, I have to get my way.
I always said as a kid that like I wasn't really spoiled in things or this and that, but I was like super duper spoiled in the amount of attention that I got. I was the only kid on one whole side of my family, and so I was very much always watched, always seen. Everything that I did was always made very aware of, and because it is Lilith, it can also go that extreme way of, it was like suffocating to me at some points, because every single thing I did was so scrutinized, and it was almost about me to a detriment. Although I think I did also learn that at a young age, that like also nobody cares, so you have to make them care. You have to give them something to care about that they can't ignore, you know?
This is a little bit of my Lilith and Virgo as well, but I was just like the class suck up. I was like, pick me to hold the banner, pick me girl to be the line leader, pick me, you know. Oh shit, I don't want to have that association, but I would just like, you know, like teachers would say shit like, whoever is sitting up the straightest and the tallest, and I would just be like,
I feel like that's an interesting combination, like you said, with that Virgo and Leo. I feel like that's the combination of them. So if you're somebody who has like their mean Lilith in Leo, but then their true Lilith is in something else, like that might be how you get the attention, you know?
But the real like Leo Lilith in me is that I wouldn't get picked. I wouldn't like, I wouldn't, and I would be like, there is a personal vendetta against me. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I'm questioning myself now if this is just coming from my Lilith and Leo. I look back and there was a personal vendetta against me, I swear to God.
I felt that way many times. I've been like, these teachers have a personal vendetta against me. Like, totally, I felt that way. Leo Lilith has a lot to do with the heart, obviously, because, you know, Leo rules the heart. It wants love, it wants to give love, all that kind of stuff. And so there can be manipulation through, the Leo Lilith has an ability to make people kind of open up their hearts to you, you know, and you can kind of take advantage of that. You can kind of take advantage how much somebody can really care for you and how much attention they can really give you. So that's kind of where I think the Leo Lilith kind of can manipulate others. It is a pretty self-concerned sign, so I don't think it does much external manipulation, but I think that that would be the way that they would take advantage of things.
Again, it's square Scorpio, so it's not, you know, in the puppet master mindset, but I think that the way that Lilith and Leo manipulates is 1000% Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again. That song, the lyrics to that song. It's just like, oops, I did it again. I played with your heart and I made you fall in love with me, but you know, I don't really care about you. I just wanted you to give me attention. Oops. That's like the Lilith and Leo manipulation. It's just like, oops, I didn't mean to manipulate you. I just really wanted you to pay attention to me, and I would do anything for you to fall in love with me, even if I didn't love you back. Oops.
You know, we know Leos love compliments, and I think that a lot of, like, I think of, like, Leo Venus can be very much the kind of person that, like, they don't care if it's an empty compliment, they want it. You know, any flattery is flattery to them. I don't think that's as true with Leo Lilith. I think because it's like, you know, Lilith is always trying to get deeper and figure out the core thing and all that, you know, that it's like, don't you dare give me empty flattery, which is, you know, always going back to that thing that Nina said of, like, you know, say something about it, but don't give me this empty thing. Don't give me, you know, I want compliments to mean something. And at the other end of the spectrum, I think that Leo Lilith is very specific about the compliments that they give out to people. And I've always been the person that it's like, if I give a compliment to you, I mean it throughout my whole body and my whole heart. I'm not going to give a compliment to somebody. I'm not just going to say something to them. I'm not just going to make them feel good just to make them feel good. You know, nobody did that to you as a Leo Lilith, so you're going to be withholding in that way to others. And you're not somebody to really fluff people up, I think, almost to a detriment. Again, that's that hyper independence thing.
Absolutely. And Leo is just all about authenticity, and that's something to be hugely admired about the sign of Leo. But anything in Lilith is that sign until its detriment. This thing of being authentic no matter what. And you know, Lilith and Leo toes the line of self-hatred and absolute self-love.
So, in summary, Leo Lilith is the best placement in all of astrology. It's fact, no, I'm kidding. I am absolutely kidding. That is our Leo Lilith video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it resonated with some people.
Yes, and I would love just like any kind of experiences that you have with Lilith and Leo. Please share it in the compliments. You know, Freudian slip. Please share it in the comments. I know that you would love to talk about yourself, and we would love to hear you talk about your Lilith and Leo, because we also have Lilith and Leo, and it's almost like we're reading what you have to say about us. Check out the down bar for everything, individual stuff, joint stuff, all that good stuff.
All right, bye.
Bye.